decades, the Philippine Navy has sailed without one of the most overlooked yet decisive naval capabilities: mine warfare. Mines, often called the poor man's navy, can deny sea lanes, restrict enemy movement, and protect vital choke points. Yet, the Philippines has not operated a true mine warfare vessel since the late 1970s. Now, two opportunities are emerging: Canada's retiring Kingston-class coastal defense vessels and Japan's soon-to-retire Sugashima-class minesweepers. Both present distinct advantages and challenges. Which path should Manila pursue? Stay with me until the end, as we compare these two classes head-to-head, their relevance to the Philippine Navy's mine warfare group, and what each option means for national defense in the South China Sea. Welcome to Pinoy Guard. The Philippine Navy's Mine Warfare Group is one of the newest units of the Philippine Fleet, tasked with mine laying, mine sweeping, and countermeasure operations. However, it exists only on paper. The group currently has no ships, no dedicated equipment, and no practical capability. The last time the Philippines had real mine warfare capability was in the Zambales-class coastal minesweepers, retired in 1979, and the Davao del Norte-class fleet minesweepers, retired in 1977. Since then, the Navy has relied solely on patrol ships and frigates, leaving critical gaps in sea denial and coastal defense. Today, with tensions in the South China Sea escalating, the absence of mine warfare capability leaves the archipelago vulnerable. Mines could act as a low-cost, high-impact deterrent against incursions into Philippine waters, yet the Navy has no vessels to deploy them. The Royal Canadian Navy is gradually retiring its Kingston-class coastal defense vessels, introduced in the late 1990s. Originally designed for multi-role coastal defense, training, and mine countermeasures, these ships were built with modularity in mind. Specifications: displacement, around 970 tons. Length, 55 meters. Speed, 15 knots. Crew, approximately 37 personnel. Mission modularity, can carry different payloads, including mine countermeasures gear, route survey equipment, and patrol modules. Strengths for the Philippines. 1. Multi-role capacity. While not purpose-built as minesweepers, they can perform mine countermeasure missions with modular payloads. 2. Patrol and training roles. They could also serve in coastal surveillance, training, and even sovereignty patrols in commerce seas. 3. Transfer feasibility. Canada has a history of security cooperation with Manila, and the Kingston-class are relatively easier to transfer compared to heavily armed warships. Limitations. 1. Not specialized. The Kingston-class were criticized in Canadian service for being underpowered and too slow. Their mine warfare capabilities were limited compared to dedicated minesweepers. 2. Age and wear. Most units have been in service for more than 25 years, meaning potential refits are required. 3. High operating costs. Being multi-role ships, they may require more upkeep than smaller, purpose-built mine warfare vessels. In short, the Kingston-class would give the Philippine Navy a stopgap capability, offering versatility but not true specialization in mine warfare. On the other side of the Pacific, the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force is beginning to retire its Sugashima-class coastal minesweepers, commissioned in the early 2000s. Specifications. Displacement, around 570 tons. Length, 67 meters. Speed, 14 knots. Crew, approximately 40 personnel. Wooden hull construction to minimize magnetic signatures, crucial for minesweeping operations. Strengths for the Philippines. 1. Purpose-built. The Tsugashima class are designed specifically for mine countermeasures, with hull materials, systems, and equipment optimized for the mission. 2. Japanese policy alignment. Unlike combat warships such as the Abukuma class or Asajiri class, minesweepers are lightly armed and purely defensive, making transfer more politically feasible under Japan's defense export rules. 3. Closer to Philippine needs. These ships could directly fill the mine warfare group's mission without requiring major conversions. Limitations. 1. Single role. They are specialized for mine warfare and cannot easily double as patrol ships. 2. Older hulls. Built in the early 2000s, they would still require refits before entering Philippine service. 3. Limited numbers. Japan's retirement cycle may not offer as many units as Canada's larger Kingston-class fleet. In essence, the Tsugashima class would give Manila a dedicated, professional tool for mine warfare, but one with limited flexibility beyond that mission. From a financial perspective, both Canada and Japan are likely to offer these vessels at low transfer cost, possibly through grants or minimal purchase price, with expenses focusing on refits and crew training. Canada's Kingston class may come with opportunities for training and cooperation, but their larger displacement could mean higher fuel and operating costs. Japan's Tsugashima class may be cheaper to operate and more politically acceptable, since Japan's defense export laws favor non-lethal and defensive equipment transfers. Strategically, acquiring ships from both partners would strengthen Manila's defense ties with Ottawa and Tokyo, two important allies in the Indo-Pacific balance against China. The absence of mine warfare vessels since the 1970s has left the Philippines at a disadvantage. Mines are not glamorous like fighter jets or frigates, but they can deny enemy fleets access to key straits, harbors, and island approaches. Imagine the South China Sea crisis scenario: hostile forces attempting to push into the West Philippine Sea or the approaches to Palawan. Mines laid by the Mine Warfare Group could force adversaries to slow down, reroute, or expose themselves to counterattack. For a country with limited naval resources, mine warfare is a force multiplier, a low-cost way to complicate an opponent's operations. Kingston class, Canada. Pros: modular, versatile, more units available, political cooperation with Canada. Cons: not specialized, aging, expensive to operate. Tsugashima class, Japan. Pros: purpose-built minesweepers, politically feasible under Japanese law, tailored for mine warfare. Cons: single role, fewer available, still requiring upgrades. In summary, the Kingston class equals multi-role stopgap solution. The Tsugashima class equals dedicated mine warfare backbone. The Philippine Navy's Mine Warfare Group is starting from zero. Any capability is better than none. Yet, if Manila is serious about rebuilding mine warfare as a true naval arm, the Tsugashima class from Japan represents the smarter, more sustainable option. The Kingston class could still play a role as a complementary stopgap measure, offering training and additional patrol presence. But only purpose-built minesweepers like the Tsugashima class will allow the Philippines to regain professional, credible mine countermeasure capabilities. In the end, the ideal solution may be a mix of both: Canadian ships to provide immediate hulls in the water, and Japanese minesweepers to build a specialized, long-term foundation. One thing is certain: if the Philippine Navy wants to safeguard its waters in the South China Sea, mine warfare must return as a pillar of maritime defense. The time to act is now.